Welcome back to Keystone and More. Here we're going to be doing another intro video to the week. The man you've seen in front of you, Manny Machado, finally getting signed. Today with the Padres, we'll talk into that. Penguins and Flyers, 3 games this week, and then they play each other on Saturday. That'll be big. New number one in the top 25 polls for the college basketball. So we'll get on into that. Nick, what do you want to start off with first?
I say we start off with the biggest news of the day, obviously that being Manny Machado headed out west to San Diego. Well, I guess not headed out west, but he's going down to South San Diego, which is obviously a huge thing for both the Padres and Manny. Manny's going to get 10 years, $300 million with an opt-out around midway through the deal, whether that be after year 4, 5, or 6. He's going to get an opt-out, and there might be a no-trade clause. There's still a lot of things to be worked out in that deal as of around 12 o'clock this afternoon, which is when that deal came out. And there was still people saying there's a lot to be figured out. There's a lot to be figured out. Is there going to be a no-trade? When's the opt-out? But we do know it's going to be 10 years, $300 million. Most of it pretty fairly evenly spread out, and this is obviously very huge for the San Diego Padres organization. Makes them, makes that left side of the infield, which is, probably one of the most important sides, one of the most important areas in the baseball diamond. It makes that side of the field so much stronger, and also it gives them, a star player to really market around, and that's gonna be huge for them selling tickets, get fans in the stands, and I could see them possibly winning 80 games, 85 games this year, which would obviously be huge for them, something they haven't been able to do in a while.
Yeah, no, this is the thing for me. I think it was a terrible deal, in my opinion. Machado, he's now 26, and he now owns the largest free agent contract in American sports now. And yes, I don't think he doesn't opt out, and I think he will hit that opt out, and he's gonna opt out. This is a Padres team that has never been close to making a playoff push, and a very weak NL West with only the Dodgers and the Rockies and Cardinals. Not Cardinals. Diamondbacks. My bad. And so this is a Padres team that has really nothing to go for except Machado. And now he's on a team. He put himself on a World Series type team now to a team that really has nothing. No pitching core. No rotation. Nothing. So I know this is a big deal, and I think he's gonna do it just for the money. He's gonna opt out. And I know if he goes somewhere else, he's not going to get as much. But still, I don't like this deal where Manny Machado went.
I definitely agree with you. I think that it's going to be, I think he's going to finally understand, hey, I live in Southern California, but this is not like LA at all. And, this team is completely different than LA. This city is completely different than LA. This stadium is different than LA. Everything about this organization is different than LA. LA has a winning culture. San Diego doesn't. Pure and simple. So, I think that he's going to figure that out. I just don't think he knows that right now. I think he just sees all those prospects. Guess what? Prospects don't always pan out, and that's one of the risks of trading for prospects or saying a prospect is going to lead you to the promised land is that a prospect, it's in the name. He's a prospect. He has a prospective chance of being good. That makes no sense, but it's, somewhat like that. These guys aren't automatically all going to be good, and then Machado's going to have to carry this team for the next 5 years, and then he's going to be out. He's going to go somewhere new. Might go back to the East Coast, might stay out in California. Who knows?
I think now this is a big win for San Diego, but it's also a really big win for Cleveland because the White Sox, if you remember, they were trying to get Machado, and that could have been a really big risk for Cleveland trying to win that division. But now, since the White Sox failed to get him, Cleveland cannot be pretty sure no other team in that division will even get close to even winning 85 games. So Terry Francona can start resting his players for the playoffs. So that's a big win for the Cleveland Indians.
Yep, that's definitely something you don't think of when you first see this deal, but when you really start to analyze this deal, you noticed, hey, that's a pretty big deal. Apparently there have been reports that the White Sox offered $350 million over 10 years. So this wasn't necessarily about the money, because if this was about the money, he definitely would have went to Chicago. I think he sees more, a better chance for a title in San Diego somehow. I don't really know how, but it does. And I think also San Diego's way better weather, and they have a nicer stadium, and the fans aren't as harsh. So I think that definitely might have had something to do with it. Because supposedly the White Sox are $350 million, and I still think the Phillies are holding their back for Bryce Harper to keep him. I think for the Phillies, Bryce Harper, thing is, if he goes to DC, that would be terrible for the Phillies. The Phillies do not want him in the division. They want to either get him or put him out in like Chicago, put him in the American League, because then they wouldn't have to worry about having to play him 25 times a year.
Yeah, and going back to Machado, if there's any losers in this deal, you could potentially say Ian Kinsler because now he's going to be a utility guy. But other than that, if you're in the Padres' point of view, yes, this is a very good deal for the Padres getting the guy you always wanted. And yeah, who now since finally Machado's landed, where do you think Harper's going to go? Well, in my opinion, like you said, I think it's going to be Philly. You know, Machado got his normal deal that he wanted. So what? Why can't the Phillies do this? And you know, and the Phillies have more money easily than the Padres do. And if the Padres can land something like this, definitely the Phillies can.
And I see no reason why Harper won't sign either tomorrow or Thursday. Because here's the thing: Harper knew a few things. First, Harper knows that he doesn't want to share the spotlight with anybody else. He wants to be the prime attention of focus. So the Super Bowl, before he knew he couldn't do it before the Super Bowl because the NFL would be there. He doesn't want to compete with the NFL. He might be Bryce Harper. The NFL's the NFL. They are the number one league in America at the moment. That could change very soon. But he wanted to have that. So he said, okay, after February 4th. Then, obviously you have some other events going down, and then you have Machado signing now. He didn't want to also. He also knew if he signed, Machado would sign right after him, and then he would not have that deal. He would not have that prime time. So now he can sign. The Machado thing gets shadowed out. He gets the prime attention to focus. All the news coverage up and down the country, across the country, will be talking about him. And even a few weeks, once that dies down, still the local Philadelphia or DC or Chicago networks will be talking about that. So I think he knows that now is the time to sign. The next 2 to 3 days is the time to sign.
Yeah, and it has to be the Phillies here. I mean, at first I kind of thought it would be the White Sox that might be able to top any Machado deal or Harper deal, but then it just really comes down on outbidding Philly on Harper, and I don't see Jerry Reinsdorf pulling that. Philly just has more reasons to extend themselves. I just think Philly has it's the right. It makes sense. It caps off your perfect outfield now with McCutcheon and with that added. So I really do think so.
Yeah, I mean, I think this truly would solidify. I think the Phillies are pretty fine, right? I mean, let's think of it. If Harper and Machado are not in the free agent pool this year, this is a great offseason for the Phillies. Adding Segura, McCutcheon, David Robertson, re-signing your ace in Aaron Nola, and get trading for J.C. Realmuto. And they traded for Gene Segura. I think I said get Gene Segura. They traded for Gene Segura. But if that were any other offseason, that's a great offseason for any team, but definitely the Phillies, because the Phillies they really needed this type of offseason. They knew they needed to make a splash. They did, but since they didn't land one of the big guys, it wasn't as big a deal. And I think now they know they have to land a guy like Bryce Harper. They have to land Bryce Harper. Even if they land Dallas Kuechly, that's not big enough. They need to land Bryce Harper.
Yeah, I totally agree. We that's probably the biggest news of the day. We're probably gonna move on quickly before we move on to hockey and in the college basketball. The Steelers, Art Rooney, owner, just sat down this morning with Antonio Brown. Coming out of it, apparently they said that it's time to move on from it, which is a big rumor that Antonio Brown may be getting traded. But Brown says there's no deal without guaranteed money, so you got to think that the Steelers have what their main thing in the offense is in the off season is going to be to sign keep Antonio Brown.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Antonio doesn't want to be in Pittsburgh. He's made that quite. He's expressed his opinions quite a lot, and I think he wants to go somewhere. No offense to Pittsburgh, but I do think Pittsburgh's in a downturn right now at the moment, and I think he wants to go somewhere with a bit more of a win now type of culture, which is in Philadelphia. That's in LA. You go over to the AFC, you have that in Kansas City. You have that in arguably Jacksonville, and that would be the most Antonio Brown thing ever to sign with the Jacksonville Jaguars. That would literally be the most Antonio Brown thing ever. So I think he needs to go somewhere that's in more of a winning the future. Right now, the Steelers are more of in the future, in the next 2 to 3 years, I don't see them being a contender. I mean, they didn't even make the playoffs this year. So
Yeah, and like Juju said in a tweet, we all got to stop being Kardashians, just chill out. And I do agree with that. We need to chill out. You know, none of this would have happened if they started yakking off in the first place. But that's just a quick NFL update. We can probably move on to NHL now. Flyers, Penguins. The date coming down really soon for the outdoor stadium series tonight. Both teams play critical games. Penguins at the Devils at a 7 o'clock start, and the Flyers host the number one team in the Atlantic, the Lightning.
yeah, and I honestly think both of these games are obviously huge, but for the Penguins, it's definitely a trap game for them. You're going into New Jersey, which isn't a rival, but it's a divisional game. You're playing the Devils. You have a big game coming up, just 90 miles down the road, and you're playing again one of the worst teams in the league in the New Jersey Devils. This is a trap game. The Penguins are not looking at this game seriously, and I can promise you, inside that locker room right now, they do not care about. I mean, they care about this game because it's a game, but they don't care about this game incidentally. They're looking at seeing that they're playing one of the better teams in the West Coast in San Jose on Thursday, and then playing in front of 70,000 people in Philadelphia, one of the biggest cities in America, on Saturday night on NBC. One of the few NBC games is that game. That's what they're looking at. I really don't think they're looking at this double game as seriously. So I think this will be a trap game for them. And the Lightning coming off a big win last night in Columbus. But again, it's rough to win 2 days in a row, especially 2 games on the road. That is like really tough for any team. But I mean, the Lightning are far and above the best team in the league, and 94 points, just 5 wins away from 50 on the year. And we're getting into late February. Nikita Kucherov's on a point-scoring pace that the NHL hasn't seen in years. Vasilevsky is amazing. Stamkos is still playing amazing. So the Flyers need to play strong, at least earn a point. You know, to expect a win, I think is a little crazy. But if they pull it off, that can be a big boost for that team. They gave the Lightning a run for their money both times this year, losing 6-5 in both games in overtime. This will be the last game of the Flyers this year versus the Lightning. It's a positive as they make their push to the playoffs. A win tonight, where I think would be obviously huge for Philadelphia, and I think that the Penguins game may have been the team's most important game out of the last 14, but tonight's game is definitely going to be probably the most difficult, and the Flyers need to continue to win games if they want to catch the Penguins. And Carter Hart will make his third straight start. So Carter Hart will start tonight. So,
Yeah, and you said that that this is a Devils team that's they're in last place, with the 23-28 record, so below 554 points. And you said that they're not going to take this game seriously, like you said, because they've been playing the San Jose Sharks and they're playing the Philadelphia Flyers, and that's the reason why I think this Pittsburgh Penguins team is going to lose, because they don't play well against with bad teams. They always lose. They keep their mind off. They think it's easy, and they're going to lose this game. And they get down by 1 goal, and they're going to give it up, and that's what I think this is going to happen tonight. And that's not what you want to see, especially when you're in the standings and you're tied with Columbus for third place, and that could be a huge deal breaker for the playoffs. And it's for see if how this team's going to make the playoffs. Because definitely March and the end of February is going to be a big indicator to see what teams are going to get a good push for this Stanley Cup run. And yeah, and everyone's thinking, okay, this is a stadium series, Flyers Penguins, good rivalry game. What does this really mean? And I think it means more than just a normal outdoor game, because this is, as you said, Philadelphia's trying to catch Pittsburgh, they're trying to catch Carolina, and this is an outdoor game. Carter Hart, this is probably one of his biggest games of his career so far. He didn't do so well the first time he played Pittsburgh, losing 4-1. But all that would be erased if he somehow comes and plays his absolute best, like we've seen him play against Pittsburgh in the outdoor game.
yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of big games tonight just for this Eastern Conference wild card. Obviously, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh both playing, but the Sabres are playing the Panthers, and the Panthers, I don't think they don't have a shot. But the Panthers are playing really good recently, and it could spoil some of these teams like Philadelphia, Buffalo, Carolina, Montreal, Pittsburgh. I don't think they play Philadelphia for the rest of the year. I think we've got our 3 games in with them, but we might not, so we might have to play them again. And Florida is a tricky team. They've won a lot of games recently, and they could take down the Buffalo team, which would be huge for the other teams in the Eastern wildcard race. Also, the Hurricanes playing the Rangers. Rangers, another team that could play spoiler, as they almost did on Sunday versus the Penguins. So the Hurricanes need to watch out for that. And the Blue Jackets playing the Canadiens. So 2 teams in that race taking each other on. You'd almost want the Blue Jackets to win, because even though the Blue Jackets are in the wildcard race, they're probably going to get the 3rd seed in the Metro. Because I don't see Pittsburgh getting it the way they've been playing recently.
Yeah. And Pittsburgh's such an inconsistent team. We haven't seen them look consistently good or consistently bad. And that's not a team that you're going to confidently say that can make a deep playoff run.
Yeah, I don't see them making. I mean, if they make the playoffs, I can easily see them losing in the first round. Probably the second, though.
Yeah. That's just the short NHL recap. It's early this week. We still got a whole week ahead, as both Pittsburgh and Philadelphia has 2 more games, including tonight. before their big matchup on Saturday. Sorry. uh, Moving on to the NCAA, we got a new number one on top of the top 25.
Yeah, we do. We have Duke on number one now. Tennessee falls down to fifth. Tennessee had been at fifth of number one. Tennessee had been number one for 4 weeks. They lost at Kentucky on Saturday. Duke's actually been number one. They've spent number one. They've been number one for half of the year. They have four. They have four of the best freshmen I think in the history of college basketball. In Zion Williamson, R.J. Barrett, Cam Reddish, and Trey Jones, who haven't lost a game since Gonzaga, which was in non-conference play. So this is obviously a pretty interesting top 25. We got Duke at 1, Gonzaga at 2, Virginia 3, Kentucky 4, Tennessee 5, Nevada 6, Michigan 7, North Carolina 8, Houston 9, Michigan State 10, Marquette 11, Kansas 12, LSU 13, Texas Tech 14, Purdue 15, Florida State 16, Villanova 17, Louisville 18, Iowa State 19, Virginia Tech 20, Iowa 21, Wisconsin 22, Kansas State 23, Maryland 24, and Millan's favorite Buffalo at 25.
I hate Buffalo. I just don't think they should be in the top 25. But yeah, like you said, Duke. When the season first started out and Duke had 2 losses, I don't know about you, Nick, but I was thinking, wow, is this the Duke team? Is this going to be a Duke team that will make a playoff run or a tournament run? Because they've had 2 losses, and that was early in the season. They'd never get early losses in the season. But no, they turned it around with Zion Williams stepping up big, and they've returned to Duke form of what we've seen them play, and you can argue even better than we've seen recently.
Agree. I mean, Duke's just playing insane, out of their mind. And tomorrow night, a big showdown in Chapel Hill versus the UNC Tar Heels, 9 o'clock on ESPN.
Yeah, and that's a game to watch. Go ahead.
I'd be great on advertisements, like doing a show. I'd be like, tune in tomorrow, because I mean, I feel like I do that on here, and I mean, we're not getting paid anything to say that.
No, we're not. But yeah, that's definitely a big game, rivalry game, and North Carolina's number 8, so technically beating Duke is good, and it's in Duke, by the way, not Chapel Hill, but beating North Carolina beating Duke, that's big because they could jump up a good number of spots and get pushed for number 2 and maybe even a number 1 seed in the tournament.
Yeah, and we got a big game. We had a big game last night with Virginia and Virginia Tech in Blacksburg. Number 3 Virginia won that game, 64-58, and that's a win versus a ranked team, even if they are number 20. That's still a big win that other teams aren't going to be able to find, maybe. Except obviously Duke. Number 15 Purdue goes into Indiana tonight for a little battle there. We got number 24 versus number 21 in Iowa. Maryland versus Iowa. That's somehow a conference game. I don't know how. I mean, I get why it is, but it's kind of crazy that Maryland and Iowa are in the same conference. Florida State and Clemson, big game for both those teams at 9 o'clock. Obviously, both those teams have had their ups and downs this year. Clemson's a lot better than their record states. Florida State's a lot worse than their record states. And then Kentucky taking on Missouri at 9 o'clock, and Tennessee playing at 7 o'clock. So a lot of big games on tonight, and there was a few big games last night.
Yeah, definitely. And this is something to look forward to as the tournament starts. And that's probably going to wrap it up for this quick video today. We wanted to get in some early news, especially with Machado signing. We'll see Harper. We'll probably make another video once Harper signs, talking a lot about that. But definitely this Sunday we'll talk about baseball. That's what we're going to devote our Sunday to.
Sunday is our baseball preview video, plus about 5 to 10 minutes of some Stadium Series and other stuff, content to start off, and then dive into MLB for approximately 45 minutes.
Yeah, maybe a little longer. But we'll see you guys next time.